What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Me Different podcast. Last week, we kicked off 2025 with an episode on the whole new year, new me concept, fucking bullshit. And we also had an amazing conversation with Rachel Harrison, all around finding your authentic voice, how she writes, like her writing process, any rituals, and like her new book, which is so fun. If you have not listened to those episodes, go check them out. I will leave them linked below. And let me tell you, those two episodes tie perfectly in with today's episode and the episode coming out on Friday with Jessica Tellian, all about manifestation. And we do like an EFT tapping process. And we dive into the spiritual world and how toxic it can be online. That's my conversation with Jessica. But today I wanted to bridge the two concepts together, which we're going to be doing week to week on kind of like touching base on last week's and going into this new week. So here's the thing. After last week's episode about becoming the version of you that could actually achieve your goals, it got me thinking about how that correlates and connects to manifestation and all the spiritual stuff that we see online that's constantly telling you to just raise your vibration, to get into the frequency of your goals, to just be and flow and manifest, and how it's magically going to appear. And although there is some truth to that, because I'm 100% believer in manifestation, meditation works, EFT tapping works. At the end of the day, though, they are all tools. It is not a magic pill. And you'll hear me talk about this every single time we talk about this topic. It is not a magic pill. It is tools and it is resources for you to use. And you know what? That whole concept of oversimplified spirituality and like spiritual bypassing is so common. And I find a lot of women in particular fall so victim to it. We fall into we just be and we manifest and we attract. And although that is true, because at the end of the day, everything is energy, there is some work that has to be done. It cannot be all the woo without the work. So in this episode, I want to get super real on what it actually takes and how to actually manifest, not the toxic positivity version, but something that's actually going to be sustainable and work for you in the long run. And this is really going to set you up for Friday's episode with Jessica. So remember how in last week's episode I said it's about becoming the person who has and lives the life that you want versus trying to achieve all the different goals? That is the key. That is where the real manifestation happens. And that is when everything you desire starts coming into your reality. And that's how you're actually going to attract stuff, not by just sitting on your couch and looking at your vision boards, even though you know I love a good vision board. The video is up now on how I created this year's vision board. But at the core of it and the key of it is the identity shift. It is to shift into that version that attracts the desire. And I'm saying this very carefully and like very slowly in a way, because it's so easy for people to be like, well, that's not real manifestation. You're working for it. So like, how are you manifesting? No, because you're not hustling. You're showing up every single day as the person that already has that. So you're acting as if you already did. It's that whole concept of fake it till you make it, but you're not really faking it. You're just like stepping into that role. Let me give you a real life example on like how this is reflecting into my life. When I first started this podcast back in 2018, which sounds so made up, like that is crazy. It started off with a show called Flaunt Your Flaws. And, I was so consistent at the beginning. So consistent. I would post every day that the episodes were supposed to come out. I had a blog. I had all this stuff. Then I started getting more into the self-development world, came into the spiritual world, and was like, oh, I just get to manifest everything. And it's all going to work out. Guess what happened? I stopped showing up consistently. The show took like a 3-year break, maybe 2-year break. I don't remember. But I took a break because I was just waiting for my manifestations to happen. I was just waiting for me to make it on the 30 under 30 list. I was just waiting for my podcast to be the most amazing, top rated podcast with a bunch of downloads and all this stuff because I was going to attract it, right? Because I was doing my vision boards, because I was doing my meditations every day, because I was doing all the inner work. But girl, I was not doing any of the actual work that it takes to get there. I would show up like someone that has a top rated podcast doesn't wake up and just watch Netflix all day. Be so fucking for real. Someone that has a top rated podcast puts out content, is so aligned with the brand and the message that they're sharing. And I constantly tell my clients this, my podcasting clients this, consistency is key. And being so in alignment with it is key. Showing up for it is key. So those 2 years of me not showing up as the woman who had this top rated podcaster, guess what happened? I lost followers. The podcast eventually went on break fully. I was not connected to my mission. And it really took me some deep fucking work and some deep aligned action for it to become this show, Made Different, that you're listening to now, and be consistent with it. Show up. So real quick, before you continue listening to this episode, which I know you're enjoying because you're still here, I wanted to do a quick little check-in with you and see how you're doing. Because so many times we just go through our day not even asking ourselves or checking in with ourselves. And that's how a lot of resentment and like burnout and all this nasty little things build up. So I want you to take a moment and just check in with yourself. How are you doing today? Like, honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of journaling. I think it's a key factor that really changed my life. And it is one of the reasons I've manifested so many things in my life. And that is why I created my own prompted journal, which you can find right now on Amazon. It's called Journaled, 222 journal prompts to explore your thoughts and discover yourself. And I'm mentioning this because one, I think journaling is such a massive thing. But two, I think if you're listening to this, you're someone that wants to constantly improve yourself or make yourself be and show up as the best version of you. So yes, this episode is sponsored by myself, by Journaled. And this is just your invitation and reminder to pick up your copy. I will leave the link in the show notes or in the description for you to grab your own copy. And we could continue 2025 journaling together. I think it's super sick. All right, let's get back into the episode. The other day, actually last night, as I'm recording this, not when you're watching this, but as I'm recording this, I was up till 3 a.m. trying to figure out all the little assets that go with the episode. And I'm not saying this as a, wow, I could do it, but it's as a reminder and hopefully a reminder to you that when you want something, you're going to show up for it. If you really want the life that you say you desire, you're going to show up for it. You're not going to be wasting time just waking up, feeling all sad and depressed because you don't have the show that you want yet, because you don't have the money or the car or the purses that you want. Because what that's doing, it's pushing it away more. And you're also not just going to wake up and stare at a manifestation board and then go eat 25 pounds of chocolate cake. I don't even like chocolate. I don't know why I use that as an example. But you know what I mean? There's a very fine line between doing extreme hustle versus being like super in flow and not showing up at all and just expecting the manifestation to happen. And that fine line is where you should aim to be, because that is where your highest self, the version of you that has all the things, that's where she lives. And I can almost guarantee you that that's a fact, because I know that your highest version is not just sitting at home waiting for opportunities to come knock. I know your highest self, at least my highest self, is not just waiting for a new client to come in or for someone to share my podcast so it could blow up. I'm actively out there trying to make it happen without the burnout, without feeling like it's a chore, because it's just the identity that I've taken on. That is where the woo meets the work, and you get to make it happen for yourself. That's why I'm so excited for Friday's episode, Jessica, because I know her as a friend and as a business owner, and I've seen her show up and like that shift in identity that she took a couple months ago. And now she's gone viral. Her products are selling out. Like she is a living example, and like she teaches to cut through the spiritual bypassing bullshit. And not only is she teaching it, but she lives it. So I'm so excited for you to listen to that episode coming on Friday. But before you catch that episode on Friday, I want you to sit with this question and really just allow yourself to really answer it. And the question is, what is the difference between manifestation and magical thinking? Here's a hint. One of them is you stepping into the role and becoming the person that has the life you desire. And the other one is sitting at home hoping and wishing that you'll be saved someday and that it's just going to happen for you. And speaking of becoming the person who already has that life that you want and the things that you want and the goals that you want, let's do a little exercise together. So take a moment to think about one single goal that you set last week or today, if it got you thinking about it. Now, instead of just visualizing yourself having that thing, I want you to instead visualize yourself as the person who, in this very moment, has it already, is living it already. What decisions does that version of you make? What habits do they have? What do they believe about themselves and about their goals? I'll leave you with that. That is the perfect setup for Friday's episode, where we dive deeper into this concept of stepping into the person who already has what they desire without any of that spiritual fluffy toxicity. Until then, keep being different, keep being real, keep being you. And remember, manifestation without aligned action is just wishful thinking. I'll catch you on Friday with Jessica for the next episode. Bye.